as we know, immigrants make up a large percentage of a lot of various occupations, but now immigrants also make up more than half of the more than 200,000 construction workers in New York City. And of the 200,000 construction workers in New York City, almost 40% are undocumented. But the Guardian newspaper has reported that it wasn't until the last few years that more women began joining the construction industry. The main draw to joining the construction industry? Pay. Whereas a cleaning or restaurant job might pay below minimum wage, construction work is paying $20 minimum or more an hour. Some women say they prefer construction's morning to afternoon schedule, which better aligns with their children's school days. Others see it as an opportunity to build a professional career, make more money, do something more exciting. But construction is also risky, and even more so for undocumented immigrants who often work under informal verbal agreements. And for women, being vastly outnumbered on every construction site means more pressure to accept lower pay and mistreatment. That's why, as more immigrant women are entering the construction industry in New York City, advocates are training them to stand up against exploitation and to transform the construction industry. Immigrant women entering construction aren't just signs of an evolving workforce, but a changing world. Hilden Hernandez, NICE's deputy director, said that in the past, usually it was men who came to the United States first, while women would stay back home with their children. Now, as the political and economic situation gets worse, in many South American countries, more women are coming due to necessity. And compared with past immigrants, the women are more often younger, educated, and coming alone. At NICE's offices in Queens, The Guardian spoke with Nelsie Suazo, a 25-year-old immigrant from Honduras who has been living for the past year in South Brooklyn homeless shelter with her 4 children and her mother. Before coming to New York, Suazo had worked as a roofer in the small town of Jasper, Texas, as one of 2 women on a job site with as many as 80 male coworkers. They called her mommy and mi amor, and they taunted her. She said she tried to ignore it, reminding herself that the weekly pay was nearly 3 times more than the $500 a week she was making working in a restaurant kitchen. But Suazo's job site also lacked proper safety equipment, including gloves, harnesses, women's sizes for safety equipment. So she often climbed ladders and walked on steep roofs without any safety equipment. Sometimes, like the men, she even worked without a helmet. One day, one of the men fell 3 stories after his foot got caught in a ladder while carrying tiles without a harness. The man survived with broken nose. It was a horrible sight, said Suazo. I felt even worse because they blamed him. The man didn't sue because he was afraid of being deported. Suazo kept silent as well, saying, I felt like I couldn't say anything because I thought I don't have any rights. Well, quite frankly, she does have rights. And quite frankly, if you do sue, you would not get deported. It would actually be a retaliation. And especially if you do sue, you should go to an attorney that handles both personal injury and immigration, like me. So we protect you on both sides of the aisle. One of the advocates trying to change, that is 35-year-old Angelica Nova, a former English teacher in Colombia. Like many other undocumented women in New York City, Nova initially tried working as a cleaner, but the harsh chemicals were too much. So she consulted NICE, which ended up training her to work in construction. She also found the lack of respect from her male coworkers, who would call her little girl or sweet little thing. But there's also a safety issue. Once, while she worked next to a male foreman on the suspended scaffolding, he asked her to stand on top of a bucket so that they could reach more areas without having to reposition the platform. Because she had already taken the safety course, Nova knew the request wasn't allowed, and she said no. Today, Nova is no longer undocumented and works as a staffer at NICE, where she's the director of training and education for immigrant workers, including a construction pre-apprenticeship program reserved for female immigrants. At NICE's offices in Jackson Heights, immigrants take classes such as a 30-hour Spanish language training on OSHA's federal safety guidelines and a 10-hour New York City-specific safety course. Advocates are hoping to create enough empowered workers that employers across the city construction industry will be forced to improve their conditions. And they see an indirect opportunity to raise safety standards for the entire industry. Every woman the Guardian spoke with for this story agreed. Female construction workers tend to take safety more seriously than men, and the numbers appear to reflect that. While New York City sees about a dozen construction-related fatalities every year, advocates say no female construction workers are known to have died on any job in New York. And whether you are a U.S. citizen or you're living and working in the United States without documentation, you have the right to a safe workplace and the right to compensation if you're injured in a construction work site accident, particularly in New York State. And as I said, if you are an immigrant or you are undocumented, you would need the services of a fantastic personal injury construction accident team and an equally fantastic immigration team to make sure your rights are fully protected. And that's what you have at Spar and Bernstein.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.